everybody, welcome to the Collector Chatter podcast. This is episode 9. And if you notice, we have a guest for the first time. We have a special guest, Jeremy. It's me and Charlie as usual, but we are here with Jeremy. How's it going, Jeremy?
It's going great, Migs. Charlie, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I've been listening since day one, and it's it's a tremendous show. And for those who don't know, I have a background in radio, about 12, 13 years of radio, and so one of the second best compliment I ever got in radio was that I felt like I wanted to be a part of the show, like I was having a conversation with the show going on, even though I wasn't involved, and that's I felt that way every single episode of your guys' show. So I'm very, very happy to finally be able to weigh in and get your guys' opinions and stuff like that. So
we really appreciate that, and we're really happy to have you.
That's so awesome. So, like normal, we're going to have an episode pretty much just with him involved with us. We want to start off like we normally do with some news and, the updates and stuff that are going on. We'll kind of just chat about what's actually dropping right now in Funko world. And then we'll kind of go in depth and talk to Jeremy about him as a collector and just kind of pick his brain on, collecting in general. So we'll start it off with a couple big drops. One of the big ones was the new Matrix Pops. So they announced that those are going to be dropping. Me and Charlie had spoke about this before, basically in the sense of it's the new movie. So not necessarily like we haven't watched it yet. So I don't know how to feel about them. And I don't know if are you guys interested in this stuff or like, I don't have the old Matrix stuff either. So.
I don't have the old Matrix. I'm really excited for the movie, but I mean, it was basically some of the basic characters and there's the one Walmart exclusive. I do believe he's a new character for this movie, but I did think the Keanu Reeves ones look pretty cool because he definitely has his new look that has in real life. I feel like now is bridging over into this new movie, not his clean cut from the originals. But I'm probably going to pass on these.
yeah, I'm passing on them now as well, and it's not because I don't like them. I actually do like them a lot, actually, but it's because of space, which you guys have talked about several times on this show. But I can't. I'm trying to become more disciplined in my collecting. Right, I can't just buy everything that I like, and so with that comes tough decisions. And this is one. The first Matrix movie is one of my favorite movies to watch over and over and over again. I love that movie. I have since the beginning. 2 and 3, you can throw them in a trash bin. I didn't care for either one of them. I can't rewatch them. They're just terrible, in my opinion. Now maybe I missed something when I was younger. I don't know, but it just didn't stick with me. So I don't. So I'm cautiously optimistic about this one. But what I will say about the Pops though is that not Barnes & Noble, the Books A Million exclusive, with the reigning code. Right,
that's looks pretty sick. Awesome.
And I will also say that that's what the artist series Pops should be.
Yes,
that should be an art series Pop, in my opinion. But either way, I'll probably grab that one when it actually hits the store. We have a Books A Million about 10 miles away, so it's not out of the question. I'll probably go grab that one when it drops if I see it in the store. But I'm not going to pre-order any of these because again, I'm trying to be more disciplined.
Yeah, that makes sense. That like you said, like that should be what an artist series is, like what the show or the movie is, something very specific to it that happens to look like a painting or whatever you want to call it, but not just lines or circles or some weird shapes. I'm sure we can go on a tangent with artist series. But yeah, that one is pretty cool. I mean, it's funny. It's like John Wick Neo, because that's what I think he looks like, John Wick basically in the new one. So
he totally does,
which is what he looks like now. So
that would make sense.
Yeah, so I guess I'm gonna pass on them as well. It's mostly because of what Jeremy said as well, is like just room. Like I actually just recently, before we even started this, I was rearranging all over again. I'm constantly like moving things around, and that's like a reason why I have to be super specific on what I want to pick up. But that's not one I want to get. One I did order though, and I think Charlie ordered as well, so I would love to know if Jeremy got it, is the WandaVision drop, where it was the comic covers and then it was the mini moments. So I only went after the comic covers. I currently have the Superman one and then the Batman one I had ordered, but it got canceled on everybody. I don't even know if that exists anymore. But the WandaVision ones I thought were super cool. The mini moments, I'm not a huge fan of those, so I didn't grab those.
Yeah,
I think Charlie grabbed them all.
If you're asking me to start, which I apologize if you didn't, but I passed on both, and I'll tell you why. The mini moments I'm not a fan of. Again, that goes back to space. But also, the comic book ones are really cool looking. I mean, I can't fault anybody for wanting those. They're really, really neat. I've just never been a comic book guy. And so while
Okay.
they are cool, I can't just there's no nostalgia in the comic books for me, and so therefore I passed on them. But I can't fault anybody for keeping them. They're really cool.
Yeah, I did pick them up. That's was one of my favorite shows. I love the comic series. I'm really excited that they're making more of them and they bridged over into Marvel. And I actually don't I did get the mini moments ones. I haven't gotten any of them for anything. I just thought they were kind of cool, and I don't think I'm going to keep collecting them. I just wanted to get them for the set because I felt like the awesomeness of the show, in my opinion, wasn't reflected as great in maybe just the normal line. And I felt like this
Mhm.
kind of showed a little bit. It just like fit to me. So
Yeah,
that's why
that makes sense. Yeah, I
why
don't
I
have any
liked
of the
them.
other ones. Yeah, like The Office and Seinfeld and stuff. I guess they make sense to like the actual show or whatever it may be. So, but yeah, Room. Those plus, even if you don't take them out of the box now is going to be even bigger. So, that's definitely it's definitely a pass for me. This is another one. I'm actually going to bring up another one that has to do with Room, which I absolutely love that they dropped these, but I didn't go after them because I want to see them in person. Is the new Stranger Things deluxe set, which is an Amazon exclusive. 11, I think, is the one that dropped, but it looks like there's going to be a Hopper, a Demogorgon in the Upside Down, and an 11 in the Upside Down, which it seems pretty cool. It seems like a cool idea. It looks like it's going to be a similar shape to like the Star Wars Bounty Hunter ones that I
Yeah,
think both of you guys do collect. I don't collect those, but what do you think of those?
I really liked them too. I love Stranger Things. I think it's a pretty cool concept. I did order the new one, but because it's from Amazon, if I don't necessarily love it, I can easily just like send it right back. So I want to see how it does look in person because I feel like these you'll have to take out of the box because of the
Yeah.
design for it to look as cool. So I'm cautiously optimistic that these are going to be pretty cool.
The Bounty Hunter ones, I've got all the ones that have been released so far, and I've got the other two on pre-order. The last one, of course, they haven't unveiled yet, but
Yeah.
we think it's going to be Darth Vader, right?
Yeah,
That's the project.
I
Yeah.
think so. Yep.
All right, yeah. So I've got them all but that one, either on pre-order or I have them here. And I will say that on our channel, I threw out an idea. I was like, hey, should I take this out of the box and put them together? Because that's kind of what they're meant to do. Or should I keep them in box as an inbox collector, right? Because I kind
Yeah.
of like that, right? So what I ended up doing is GameStop had a ridiculous sale a couple weeks ago. They were
Yep.
$15 a piece, and I had a like a $40 gift card from leftover from something else, and so I ended up buying all three Bosk. Let's see, the first three: Boba, Bosk, and an IG.
IG.
I bought them again, and so now I have two, and that's what I'm gonna. So I'm
Smart
towing that
move.
line of I'm gonna open one, and then I'm gonna keep the other ones. But to answer the question about Stranger Things, we watched the first couple seasons and really liked it, but it just kind of I think it took forever to come back, or something happened where we
Yeah.
just lost interest.
It's still
And
not back.
so,
That's a problem. Yeah, you
well,
lost
maybe
interest.
that's
Yeah.
it then. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it just lost interest. So for me, I think again, this is another example of something that looks really cool. It's a
Hmm.
perfect setup for something like that, an assemble moment. But I'm passing just because unless I get back into the show, I just don't have the passion for that particular line.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, it's another thing. You got to have the room for it. Obviously, it's the first thing, and then yeah, I think they look cool. But yeah, Stranger Things is a pretty cool show. It is finally going to be coming back. I believe the beginning of next year. It's a new like January or something.
And the
Finally,
kid
the new
just looks
season.
so much older. I hope there's
They're all older.
a
Yeah, so they
legitimate
they have
time
to like
jump.
jump time. Yeah, they have to like technically jump time because they're no longer children, and now they're getting into that awkward stage. So you know that they're not little kids. But yeah, so that's a cool one. We had a bunch of sodas drop. So I know Jeremy has kind of started getting into sodas. I actually got Charlie into sodas, which is funny. We're gonna have an all soda episode coming soon. But this past week they dropped Beast Boy, Peter Venkman. So finally the second Ghostbuster of the four, hopefully that they make, came out, and then the Sully one dropped the next day, which was completely out of nowhere. I missed on the Sully. I did get the Beastman and the Venkman. And then another soda that was announced, well, at least it's like a rumor, is the Cusco, which is from
Emperor's New
Emperor's New
Groove.
Groove. So that's like out there somewhere. They've seen it like I've seen that it's supposed to come out, but that's not officially out. But the other ones I did grab, I think Charlie, I think you grabbed
Yeah, but I
two.
missed the Sully too, which is the one I
Okay, yeah,
wanted the most out of those three. So
yeah,
I'm
same.
bummed about that.
Yeah,
The
did you get
Beast
any,
Boy
Jeremy?
one The Beast Boy one is the one that I really want because McGillney, for those who don't know, is my co-host on the channel. He, I mean, probably 2-3 straight years watched every single Teen Titans Go episode 15 times over, right? And then we took him to see it in the movie theater. The movie, which was awesome. For those who don't know, like it's not just for kids. That thing is hilarious. So he really loves the Teen Titans Go, and so I'm going to end up getting him Beast Boy. We'll do a 2-soda Saturday with it, and hopefully we get a chase in it. Common. They'll both go to him. They won't be back here on the shelf. That's purely for him. But as far as the other ones go, I mean, again, some of them are really cool, but I passed on everything else. I'm going to pass on everything else. The Sully I did see when it was in stock, and I was like, is this an exclusive? Like, it threw me off for a second because I was like sidetracked with something else. And so I got this Funko alert that it was available, and I was like, but I don't see an exclusive on here. Am I going to regret not getting this? I'm going to pass. Yeah. And now, of course, I'm seeing them pop up, and I'm like, crap, I should have got one. But no, I pass on everything else.
Yeah, it's because what I found out what's happening is a lot of these. So Funko is, for the most part, unless it's like a specialty series or something very specific to a con or whatever, Funko's pretty much going to get them all and just drop them, but they do them randomly. So like we see these announcements of when they're like these next 10, 12, 14 sodas are going to come out. Basically, Funko will drop all of those, but just sporadically or 2 at a time. And that's kind of what's been going on. Like they did Beast Boy and Venkman, and then the next day they did Sully. So it's kind of like, it's a pain in the butt because you don't get a date. You have to just hopefully be on there, get notified or whatever. So it is kind of a pain if you're a huge soda collector, which I've slowly become more of a soda collector than a pop collector personally. But what else? What do you got, Charlie? I know there was.
Another big one was, we had talked about in the past, but they officially had announced the 50th anniversary Walt Disney World. Everyone who knows me, I'm a huge Disney fan, and I really try to collect all the parks pops. So I was really excited about these. One thing though that's kind of funny that a lot of people have been saying, which is, I'm really upset at Funko, talk about laziness. So they made the Disneyland castle for the 65th anniversary, and all they did was reuse that mold, change it to the colors, but it's not the same castle. Like when I first saw the picture, I didn't think twice about it because they did at least make it the right color scheme. And then I was like, wait a minute, that's not the right castle. And people are like ripping them online about it. I mean, I know some people are like, you got to grab this one. It's probably going to be worth a lot of money because they'll make another one. I don't think they're going to correct it. It just is what it is because they're going to ship soon. So I like them and I'm getting them, but I am a little like perturbed about that.
Yeah, that's interesting. When I saw them, I didn't notice it right away either because of the colors. Like the 50th anniversary for the Florida Walt Disney World is a specific colorway, so they basically redid it that way. But then when you look at it again, or you look at the Disneyland castle versus the Disney World, you're like, this is literally just a Disneyland one. And what's funny is that they didn't just mess it up. Like Charlie said, they took one that they already had, which is the one with Walt, and just put Mickey in it and change the colors and say it's a 50th anniversary for Walt Disney World. So it's kind of nuts. But that line's pretty cool. Again, that's a line I'm not going to go after because I don't go super hardcore on Disney. And they're like all big pops. Like they're towns and rides.
I wish they made some more smaller ones.
Yeah, they didn't really. I think maybe like one.
Pretty
much they were
from
all,
Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah.
Yep. The rest were all like big ones. So I don't know. Are you a Disney collector at all, Jeremy? I know you probably have some, but I don't know if as hardcore.
Yeah, I have some. I'm not a Disney collector per se. I will say that the second that the Pirates of the Caribbean ride one dropped, or was announced, I shouldn't say dropped. It announced the dog with the key. I grew up in California, and my aunt lived in Irvine, which for those who don't know, it's a stone's throw away from Disneyland, right? So, and so I went to Disneyland. I think I've been 15 times in my life. Now, 5 of those I don't remember at all because I was so young. But the point of saying that is that I remember that dog from the beginning. Like my first memory of Disneyland is being fixated on that dog holding that key. And the prisoners reaching out, trying to grab the camera, trying to grab the key for the dog. And so when he was in the movie, it was like a sense of joy. It was really cool. And so that's a pop that I do want. But I will say this: that seems to be like a perfect con exclusive pop. Yeah, like where it's like it's a notable character, but it's not one that's going to fly off shelves necessarily. But that to me is the formula for a perfect SDCC. I mean, some sort of exclusive pop, and I guess it could be a parks exclusive, but it's not, right? It's a common
Yeah, it's just a common, which I'm
If I'm
assuming.
not mistaken.
No, yeah, it's a common.
Yeah, and that doesn't really it doesn't make sense to me. I'm glad they made it, but to me that's where the decision making kind of question marks come in, right? So,
Hmm.
that is one of the pops that I will look to get eventually, hopefully in a mystery box, so I don't have to go out and buy it.
I feel
Yeah,
like they're
I
going to
agree.
ultimately make more in that line. This was like a first wave, just especially seeing how many they made in the Disneyland anniversary. I feel like it also could be due to production delays and they just didn't show them all.
Yeah.
But isn't that an excuse though? Like that's an excuse to remake pops they've already made. I mean, maybe not the same molds, but like doing an anniversary release, kind of like the Star Wars release actually. Like the Princess Leia one I didn't care about that one. The Han Solo and Carbonite one was awesome. Like that's one of the best pops I own. The
Yes.
Han Solo and
Yeah.
Carbonite one, right? Like that, but that was new. It was a new thing. It was an iconic moment in the franchise. But hey, Luke Skywalker 40,000. Like, okay, I've got my share of these. I don't. It's just an excuse
Yeah.
to make more pops. So for me, the Disney thing is cool. I think the castle is really neat. But again, that's new. Maybe not the messed up castle, but you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, yep,
And the dog
totally.
with the key is new. Like those things are new, and that's awesome. But just to find another excuse to make Ariel, or it's like okay, we
Yeah.
have enough. We have enough of these.
That I agree with. Yeah, they should be making more. Like I said, I'm a huge Disney parks guy. Like there are so many rides or characters like that dog from the Pirates of the Caribbean one. It is such a perfect one. They should be doing more of that. You're right. We don't need another. I have 2 Dumbo pops already. They
Right.
didn't
Yeah.
And
need to
there's
make
like
it
20
again.
to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like laziness.
That's a little much. Yeah. But that another thing that dropped, I did want to mention this. So this was something I was super excited for, was a new die cast Iron Man, which came out of nowhere. Now, kind of out of nowhere, because I know there was rumors that that was going to be the one that was going to, because what was crazy is they dropped number 1, which was Cap, and then number 3, which was
Yeah.
Batman. So everyone knew there was something in number 2. A lot of rumors, and Iron Man was the one that they pretty much talked. And oh, you got it, huh?
Uh,
I got it, but not yet. It hasn't come in yet, so I'm still waiting for it. But so excited for it. I currently now have 2 out of the 3, and I'm waiting for that one. That'll be the third one. I love the way they look. I think Iron Man obviously makes so much sense to be in diecast, like of course, but I'm super excited to see that. So obviously you got it, Charlie. I think you were able
yes,
to
I
get it
got
too,
it.
right? Oh, you
I'm
didn't
I
get it,
super.
ordered
Jeremy?
it. No, I
Okay,
ordered
you
it.
ordered
That
it.
was
Okay,
Cap and Batman. They happened to be by my feet, so I figured I'd grab them. But
nice. Okay.
for what you're saying,
I
but,
do
yeah.
not have those, and I'm really upset about it.
Really,
Yeah, he
man.
missed
I
on.
If I'd
missed
ordered
it.
2, I would. If I'd
I
ordered
know.
2, I would have reached out. Sorry, man. I thought.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I had to get the Iron Man to. I'm a completionist, as Miguel, you know, and so I
Mhm.
had to get the Iron Man, and I'm waiting to see if this line gets old. What I mean by that is they look awesome. You're right. When they look awesome out of box, right in the box,
yep.
they
Yeah.
look awesome. They're really cool looking. They're sleek. They're clean. I mean, they're gorgeous.
Mhm.
Okay, but if they start making 30 a year and I can't keep
Yeah.
up, then it's going to be like the art series and the blacklight pops. I'm just going to give up. You know.
Yeah. I personally think they won't. Only, well, a couple reasons. One, because they're a higher end. They're $50, so they're not like
50
cheap.
bucks.
So they're obviously not cheap for them to make, I'm assuming. And so they're probably not going to necessarily sell as much as like a blacklight pop, like a retail blacklight pop or R series or whatever. But also because I think it's just like I think it's gonna be similar to like the albums and some of those where they may have dropped a few in a row, then they kind of just like slow. I haven't seen a new pop out besides those huge new ones. I haven't seen a new pop album in like forever. So I'm hoping that happens where it slows down. Yeah, those other ones are crazy. I'm hoping it slows down like that, but that you do get some of the like big iconic main characters, which I would be cool if they just keep it with DC and Marvel.
I was
And
just about
kinda
to
just
say that.
do a
I
few
don't
of
want.
them and that's it.
Yeah, I like that it's superheroes right now. As a huge Star Wars fan, I would like a Vader one, but
Yeah.
I do like that it is sticking with that. If they start just making anyone in diecast, it's gonna kill the line. And kind of like Jeremy said, it's like you don't want them to just keep making a million of them.
The
Yeah.
thing for me is it's like I fully expect the Joker. Okay, obviously, and that's great. But which Joker do they do? So
Yeah.
like, and then that opens the door of like, hey, well, we did one Joker and it sold out in 5 minutes, so let's do another Joker. And next thing you know, there's 10 Jokers. I just don't, even if it was a Mandalorian pop, although maybe that's a bad example, but even if it was a Mandalorian pop, we have enough the children, the child. We have enough childs. We don't need
Children.
20 die casts of the child in different poses and stuff. And that's where I'm going to lose interest in this line. Right now, I'm on fire for it. It's really cool. It's a great idea. It is high end. It's really neat. And tangent, by the way, why isn't Funko making their free shipping on their site at $52? So you can't just buy a die cast and ship it for free. That's what I'd like to know. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail the conversation.
Right. So if it's just one diecast, you can't.
No, if it's just one diecast, because it's $50, they have free shipping at 50. So you automatically get free shipping. Wouldn't it be a smart business decision to make it 52? And then that way you have to buy something else to get free shipping.
Yeah.
I hope they don't do that though.
Yeah.
So do I. I'm just.
You're right.
That's the highest. That's the highest value thing they sell, right? I'm assuming.
Yes.
There's nothing over
I'm sure it
50,
is.
think,
I'm
right?
sure it is.
Yeah.
They probably weren't even thinking that.
Someone on their marketing team has to be like, "Hey guys, we're losing money on shipping because we're making it $50, but really we're paying 10 to ship." I mean, this thing is heavy. It's not light.
Yeah, it is. Its own box. The way they ship it is like legit too.
Yeah. So to me, it's like someone in marketing has got to be like, "Hey, if we bump this threshold by $2."
Well, if they change it, they listen to our podcast. So
yeah, we'll see.
Charlie, apparently you have an in with with Funko. So from your visit a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you should call some people
directly. I'll let them know about the price hike. Hopefully this doesn't raise the price on that. Luckily that stayed at 50 when everything else went up. So but yeah, I love the line. I think it's cool too, as being like let's say they don't make so many, being lucky enough to get the first few or get the only ones that are out. So that is one reason why I do like it. I know that's why one reason that Charlie was upset that he didn't get them now. So he's gonna be after them eventually. I think they'll come down. The resale kind of went up right now. They're like 80 to 100 right now.
But I feel like I'm going to be able to get the Batman one on the next drop. I just have this feeling because
that's also
coming back.
Restocking.
Captain America. I'm going to have to get it and pay whatever I got to pay for it.
But it's like PPG on the cap is only like $80, isn't it? It's not. I mean, I haven't checked it recently, but
no,
it's not much higher than retail. Is my point. Like you're still basically paying retail plus a premium just to get it late. It's not that big of a deal.
No,
yet.
Agreed.
Yeah. That's how I actually got the Batman one. If you saw, we met up together and went to that store, Pop Free Collectibles, and he had one in store. And I saw it and I was like, oh my God, Charlie, look, this is the Batman one. I missed it. I want it. And I kind of just didn't say anything of it. Like, I'm not going to get it because he's selling it at a resale price. And then my wife's like, I'm going to get it for you. And I was like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah, you got at least get one thing. I was like, all right, go ahead. So,
that's a pro move. Well done, Pop Sim.
So that's how I have that one. But all right, so that was pretty much like the main news. There was obviously a few other different things, but I want to get into actually talking to Jeremy and picking his brain as a collector. And we wanted to ask you a few questions. Obviously, if you guys don't know, he's not just, a random collector. I met him through the Funko community. He also has a YouTube page, New and Old Funko Pop Unboxings, which is essentially him and his son, and they're unboxing a bunch of stuff. I've followed you guys for a really long time. And I know we started talking through Instagram and stuff and got a really good friendship on that. And we've even tried to eventually hopefully meet up at some point, which I know will happen at some point. But
one day.
Yeah, because he's down in the Nashville area, which I absolutely love that city. So the next time I'm down there for sure. But yeah, just right off the bat, I just wanted to just have you just tell us a little bit about yourself and just like an intro to just you as a person. Obviously, you love hockey, you play hockey. That's why you're wearing a jersey right now. If you guys are watching on YouTube, he's wearing a pretty sweet jersey right now. And yeah, just a little bit about you and just general stuff.
Sure. My name is Jeremy. I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, born and raised out there. And then I moved to Nashville in September of 2005. I've been a sports fan my whole life, which is the majority of my collecting goes around sports. I can't move the camera at the moment, but I have a whole you see the hat rack behind me. I think it's over here. I'll see. Yeah. There you go, right there. There's one of those on this door over here that you can't see, that I can't move my camera to, and it has all my media credentials. I've been in the Nashville media landscape for about 13 years, and so I've got everything from Final Four to Preds to Titans to Vandy, Alabama. I've been very blessed and lucky enough to work again at Final Four in Minneapolis, which was an incredible experience, and just all that stuff. It's just my background's in sports. My last 13, 14 years I've been in media, and I said I had a radio back earlier the show, and so that's where a lot of my fandom comes along, is in sports. I love sports. If I could just collect sports pops, I would, but I have too many passions in life to just limit it. I will say that this shelf over here, this entire, well, see, not that one, this one here, this entire, all 5 shelves, those are all hockey pops. So I'm trying to get all the hockey pops that have been made. I got about half, and again, I came in the game late, right? So we started our channel in February of 2020 because we knew the pandemic was on the horizon. In fairness, we didn't think it would take this long, but we but we were like, well, we need something to do if we're gonna be locked up for a while, you know. And my son had just started collecting Funko Pops that Christmas before, and so I was like, well, we see Nerdy Noob and Pop Savage and Franchise Kicks and Bearded Pop. We see these channels that are unboxing these mystery boxes. That looks kind of fun, and the mystery boxes to me brought me back as a kid opening hockey card packs and baseball card packs and football card packs, right? So it was like the mystery of what you're going to get. Now they were 50 cents at the time; they weren't $50 or whatever the mystery boxes that we usually partake in now. But it was still that element of like, oh, I'm getting something and I'm going to open it and I don't know what's in it until I open it, and that's really cool. And so the mystery boxes spoke to me in that way. The collecting again spoke to me because growing up I collected all kinds of cards and posters and all kinds of stuff. And so I've had a collector's heart for pretty much my whole life. But when you go to college and things get a little tough, you don't that disposable income goes away, and you only get the stuff that's absolutely pertinent, and so it kind of went away until my son in again probably November of 2019 told my wife. He said, I think I want to start collecting those Funko Pops, and I was like, say no more, I'll take it from here. And then next thing you know, now we have this channel. We have 1,000 subscribers, which we just crossed. We're very flattered by that, and we're just very, very, very lucky and blessed to have 1,000. We honestly thought, okay, 15 family members will care, and then like maybe 10 or 15 friends will care, and we'll do this. If we get to 100 subscribers, we'll be thrilled. And now we're at 1,000. It's just it's just tremendous. So. That's I guess a little bit a crash course about where I grew up, my sports fandom from the very beginning, and then collecting, and then fast forward to now where we have the channel and we're hopefully doing a lot of right things. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, you really are, man. I mean, that's kind of funny because I was gonna ask you like how you got into collecting and everything, and obviously that it stems from all that with sports
from the
and
sports
everything.
And sports cards as a kid. Yeah.
The main reason, and then having your son. I mean, if you guys haven't watched, definitely check out. Congratulations, by the way, on the 1,000 subscribers.
Thank you.
That is awesome. That's something
it's
I'm
still hard
to get to.
It's still hard to believe. It's still hard to believe when you go to the YouTube back page and there's 4 digits there. That's very, very weird.
It's just so awesome, man. Too, though. Like the reason I love your channel is because you are doing with your son. It's a great dynamic that like they're not a lot. I mean, I have a 2-year-old, so when he gets a little older, it's my dream. I want him to start doing stuff like you guys are doing. It's super, it's super fun and unique, and it's why, well deserved on the subscribers.
Thank you. It is a lot of fun to do. For those who don't know, don't watch our channel, McGillney is very involved in dance. So for those who don't know, dance is kind of like when you're growing up, you see sports like, hey, I played youth soccer, but then when I was 9 or 10, I was good enough, and they asked me to join the travel team. That's what he's in. He's in the travel company team of dance, and he has been for 3 years now. And so his schedule is like school, obviously, of course, Monday through Friday. And then he goes right to dance 4 days a week after that. So it's just insane. And so to find those pockets of time where we have, okay, hey, we got a half hour, let's shoot a video real quick, and then it gets a little dicey, but we try to stick to every Tuesday and Friday morning, and then a 2 soda Saturday on Saturdays. And we're doing our very first live tonight, Monday, of our very first live. We've never done one before, and we're going to do one with the Pop the Chaos group that we're part of. And let me tell you, he's excited about it. Slightly. I mean, he is just he cannot wait for I think we said 6:00 Central on Monday to do it. So we're excited, and we'll see how that goes. It could be a complete disaster, or it could be awesome. So we'll see which one.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, me too.
That'll be cool. What is your biggest Funko line that you collect? I mean, I'm sure we know, but let everybody out there know just kind of like the main things that you collect, and then maybe even what McGillney collects as well.
Sure. So I mentioned the hockey pops over here, but I'd say the Mandalorian. I have every single 4-inch Mandalorian pop, including, thanks to Grown Kids TV and their amazing deal they worked out with me, the NYCC 2019 Mando. It's the shirt.
That's awesome.
sticker, but I don't care. And I think I'd never own it anyway. So the fact that I have it is just incredible. So I have every 4-inch Mandalorian pop still. And again, if they keep making, I have a whole shelf of Childs. If you watch our videos at all, you'll see the entire shelf of Childs.
I love that show.
That's how many there are. Uh, so Mandalorian and the Hockey Pops, those are the two main ones. I do have every stand-up comedian pop as well, and now I'm very, very passionate about stand-up comedy. I love stand-up comedy. Used to have a podcast about stand-up comedy. I love going to Zanies here in Nashville. It's a club, and it's one of the best in the country. And I've seen a lot of legends live. I've seen Don Rickles 5 months before he passed. Got to see him. He just destroyed. Saw Dave Chappelle at his farm in Yellow Springs, Ohio last year during the pandemic. So I've seen a lot of legends perform live as well. I'm very, very passionate about stand-up comedy. But the reason that didn't come to mind first is because there's only 4 of them. So I've got the whole line, but there's only 4. So hopefully that'll continue to grow.
Who do you wish they made, like other comedians that they made?
Probably the two I mentioned, Rickles and Chappelle. I think, and they're probably both licensing questions. And like, okay, are we really going to sell 20,000 Don Rickles pop? No, but if they ever did like a Las Vegas Comic-Con exclusive, like Rickles would be a perfect fit for that, right? Or Joan Rivers would be a perfect fit for that. So, and then you do a 5,000 piece, and then you kind of get around there's ways around it. I don't know if it's fiscally responsible for them to do it, but I in my head it makes perfect sense, and I wish they'd do a Chappelle one or a Rickles or a Joan Rivers one.
Yeah, and McGillney, what's his biggest collections?
He loves anime pops, although he doesn't really watch anime shows. But he loves the way they look, which I actually, in some of them, I agree. I mean, the new, what's the one that just came out? The Hot Topic and Box Lunch. I don't remember the character's name, but it had like a mask on the side.
Yeah, I don't know the name either.
Me either, but I know what you're talking about.
Yep. But I mean, they're both of them. The glow, and then for the box lunch, and then the Hot Topic one regular with the mask on. They're sick. I mean, they just look so great. I have no idea who that character is, but that pop was like, that pop's pretty awesome, you know. But again, trying to be disciplined, trying not to, venture too far off the beaten path. But he loves the anime pops and anything he really likes. Like one of his first pops that he got, that I got him for Christmas that year, was Tron. Because he watched me watch Tron, he liked all the neon lights, and so it was really neat for a 6-year-old, 7-year-old brain, right? So, I got him a Tron pop. And he loves that. It glows in the dark. He thinks it's so cool, but he doesn't know the movie. So, but if blanket statement, Teen Titans Go and anime. Those are those two must-haves.
Nice. Awesome. Do you collect anything other than Funko? I'm assuming you probably do. Obviously, you're a huge sports fanatic, so maybe some sports stuff or just other toys or anything else.
So I used to collect toys, like action figures. I can blame that on working at Toys R Us for 2 years. That was very difficult to not go home with a toy every single time. That was when the Spawn toys first came out, and some of them were like $70, $80, which is like in the 90s was just unheard of, and so I collected a couple of those. But again, I dabbled in it, and then college happened, and then that all went away. So I've collected something always until I couldn't. But like I said, most of the stuff I collect now is emotionally attached. So again, the credentials that I have, like most people throw their credentials away because they're like, okay, well, it's a one-time only game in Cincinnati, Ohio, and so why do I need this? But for me, because I didn't go to college, meaning I didn't go to university, I went to a 2-year college, but I didn't go to. I always say I didn't go to college, so I didn't go to university and get a degree. But yet I've still been blessed enough to and worked hard enough to pay out a career in media and radio and blogging and all that kind of stuff to cover sports. And so for me, every single credential I have over here, and there's probably just by eyesight 70 hanging up over here.
Oh wow!
Every single one is an emotional connection. I'm trying not to get emotional right now. I'm talking about it to that kid growing up in California who was a horrible high school student and just educationally just didn't care. It's I coasted, and then I went to junior college 4 or 5 different times, dropping out each time, and then finally got my AA, but never went to a 4-year college. And yet here I was afforded the opportunity to still go cover these events like I wanted to do when I was 9, 10, 11, 12. All I wanted to do was write sports. And so to be able to do that still, despite the table that I set for myself, which is pretty bare, is a tremendous blessing. And so that's more of an emotional attachment for me. Just a reminder that I'm not rich. I'm not swimming in money. But I am rich in the sense that I've been able to do exactly what I wanted to do when I was growing up.
That's awesome. obviously as a huge sports fan, I know they haven't made NHL ones yet, but I'm curious, what is your opinion of the new like gold line of all the athletes? Are you going to get any of those? Like if they were to come out with NHL players, would you want them or?
So I'll actually connect that to an answer I missed. I said stand-up comedian pops, I said hockey pops, and I said Mandalorian. I do also have all the biggies that are reasonable. So I don't have the cream suit biggie, and I don't have the $2,000 black suit biggie, right? But I have all the other biggies. And so Biggie was the only one that I'm really considering getting on the gold line, because I don't like how a lot of them look. I think the Biggie looks like Al Roker, to be honest. And so I'm not a big fan of how they look, but I'm like, well, I do have all the big. It'd be kind of cool just to have it like I can put it in the attic. I don't have to display it, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's only $15 or whatever it is. So there's a possibility I'll do that, but the gold line in particular, even for like hockey, if they came out with a hockey line, which they've went to football. I guess they went basketball too. I guess.
NBA now, yeah.
Yeah. To me, it's first of all, it's the perfect setup for Funko, who masters in lazy chases. First of all, because all they have to do is change the jersey.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
The
ridiculous.
same character, just change the home to away, and you're done. I mean, it's a super. That's why the Tom Brady one actually is really cool, as you guys talked about on your show.
Yes.
Because it's a different team. It's the Patriots, right? So that's pretty neat. So that one, aside from that one, it's very easy to be like, yeah, we're just gonna make 20,000 LeBrons, and then we're gonna make 10,000 of them in gold jerseys and be done with it. You know. So I'm not particularly a fan of that line, but I can see myself probably grabbing Biggie and just throwing him up in the attic just so I have him.
Yeah, I do have that one, which I grabbed all the rappers, the original first line that they dropped. And I agree, they don't all necessarily look like them, maybe resemble, some of them don't look like them at all. But what I found out afterwards, it was only because I saw someone else doing an unboxing, because I didn't even try to do this. They're essentially action figures because their arms and legs move.
Okay,
so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they're not literally like pops or sodas, because I said they look like sodas because they're skinny and tall and whatever.
Right.
But I saw someone else doing it, and the arms actually literally move up and down, and the legs move in and out and around. And I think even their heads turn. So it's essentially their take on an action figure, I guess you could say, which I think is pretty interesting because of the sports aspect of it. I guess you could display them pretty cool. But I agree, they look a little weird. They're just, the way they're like structured just does. The football ones, I guess, make more sense than the NBA ones. But even those, I'm just kind of like, eh. And then the chase laziness.
Such an interesting look. Yeah, I don't.
Kind of weird.
And I know I talked about in the past, like they've made action figures before. They made the Game of Thrones ones, but that I think was before Game of Thrones blew up. Someone was smart enough to get that license, but now it's just like, I would love to know who created those gold line. It's such an interesting look.
But it is on. It's very on brand for Funko, right? They're like, hey, we have this license for something. Let's milk the crap out of it.
Yeah.
So how do we do this? We don't have any kind of restrictions on, like, Marvel has to be a bobblehead. Which, by the way, before we go today, at some point, I have to get this bobblehead thing off my chest. So please remind me whenever it's conducive to the show. But Marvel has to be bobblehead, or Star Wars has to be bobblehead. They don't have to worry about that with these, because they're athletes and they're rappers, and they don't have action figures necessarily, right? So they can do whatever they want. And so, like, hey, we have this license, let's create another product just from scratch. And it's very on brand for them to try to milk this thing. The ornaments is another thing. Like, okay, oh my goodness, really? Like, do we, So, I mean, more power to them if they're making money. They're printing money hand over fist, more power to them. But as a collector, as a somewhat quasi-traditionalist, I don't like the lazy chases. I don't like the hey, we got this license, let's make another product from scratch just because we can. I don't like that philosophy.
Yeah, it is interesting because, like you said, it's like they have the NBA, they have all these licenses, so they're not going to come out with this another version of the pop. So they just created a whole new thing, and if they haven't done sports sodas yet, so they decided to make these, I guess. So maybe they couldn't do sodas because of the size or something, and then that's
which
why
there was. Did you guys get that survey that they sent around? Did you guys see that?
No.
There was a survey from Funko sent around. I got it. I don't know if I was randomly picked or if I just happened to see it on Twitter. I don't know where I saw it, but it was this survey from Funko, and they specifically said it was something like, do you collect sodas? Or what at the bottom do you collect? You just tick the boxes of what you collect. And I put pops and sodas. That's really all I collect that Funko does. I don't collect t-shirts and all that stuff. And so, but anyway, on the soda specific page, it said, what would you like to see made next? And it was Star Wars was on there, Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
Athletes was on there. and I clicked both of those. Again, I don't know the ins and outs of if they have exclusive rights on figures of a certain. I don't know how that works, but the fact that it was on the list
means
was
they're going to
encouraging
try.
to me.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. It
That's
was on
good.
the list. That means they're trying to get it if they
It's
can.
in conversation.
Because the Star Wars, I mean, we
Yeah.
talked about it. I go on all day. It just makes sense. It's crazy to me that they don't have Star Wars sodas.
Yeah,
but they're going to have to figure out a way to do it because I guarantee Mattel, Ken, or whoever actually owns the Star Wars license. Again, I'm not into toys, but whoever owns it, there's no way they're going to be like, oh, sure, go ahead and make another. There's no way.
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to have
Hasbro,
to find a way
it's
to
Hasbro
do it.
that has the license, and yeah, they're definitely
Hasbro,
probably
yes,
they don't like that Funko has become a huge competitor to them.
Right.
Yeah, which we kind of went into that a little bit. It's like they're such a big company. I'm sure they're not, unless they're getting a huge chunk of the pie, they're probably not gonna allow.
Maybe that's why the prices went up, guys. Maybe they're like, hey, if we just do every pop over $1, we'll just give it to Hasbro, and it'll be a wash. Who knows?
All right, so you kind of mentioned this, so I'm sure this is probably going to be in there. But one, what are some of your top grails that you currently own? I guess you could say just value-wise, just like these are my most expensive pops that I have. And then what are like your top 3 favorite pops, whether they're your girl or not, and top 3 pops that you would want that you haven't got? That could kind of spill into the grail thing, so that's why I kind of put it together.
Okay, I'll start with the grails that I want because I do have an active list of personal grails. Number 1 is Cream Soup Biggie. I want that. We just bought a Pop King Paul box actually with Cream Soup Biggie as one of the prizes.
Yes,
so,
I got that box because of you.
Fingers crossed. And then number 2 is probably it's a tie really. It's either the OG Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal. That's my favorite Michael Jackson song of all time. So Smooth Criminal, or it's any combination of Run DMC or Jam Master Jay. The OG ones. That's my top 3. I guess and some change. Personal grail list. So I'll start with that. As far as my top 3 pops that I have value wise, one, let's see, NYCC Mando is up there, and then I've got the Phenomena for the Muppets. That was a gift from a tremendous friend of mine named Chad. He has supported this channel from the beginning, and he messaged my wife. So in 2020, he messaged my wife in April of 2020 and said, "Hey, I want to give Jeremy a pop for his birthday. What does he like?" And she was like, "Well, he likes this, and this." And next thing I know, we open it up. This box that just shows up from Chad, and it's Phenomena. It's like $160 or whatever. It was just mind-blowingly great. So that is one that will go with me to my grave. If I sell my entire collection, that will not be a part of it because it was so special. So there's that one, and then I'd probably say one of I haven't checked today, but it's either Diamond Vaporeon, or Diamond or Diamond Charmander, whichever one is actually leading the way today. That's my third top.
I can't believe how much those are worth. It's like,
let me tell you. So the Vaporeon, I got a buddy of mine, my best friend actually, he won the lottery for that con. I think was it ECCC?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that
was the
he
first
won the lottery
one,
for that
came out.
And so I gave him a list. I was like, "Okay, I want these 10 or whatever it was." And he's like, "Okay, I can't get them." I said, "No, you don't have to get any of them. This is just what I want. So if you're in there and you see them, grab them, and I'll pay you back." And so I got Diamond Vaporeon con sticker for $15. I got it for retail, right?
So awesome.
And then the Charmander, I actually won in a waffle. I think I bought 3 spots, so it was $24. They were as public education math, $8 $8 a spot, and that was the only diamond, or that was the only con Pokemon I didn't have yet, other than Mewtwo, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I was like, sure, I'll buy 3 spots. This was Stop, Hop, and Roll. Did that one, and at the time it was like $60 or $70. It was somewhere around there. And the day we got it and unboxed it in the mail, it shot up to like 200.
Yeah.
And so it's like striking the lottery, because not only did we have to play, but we had to win. And then when it came in, it was like, oh, by the way, it just jumped $150 or whatever. It was just insane, and it's held its value. So it's whatever one is leading. It's Vaporeon or Charmander.
It's awesome.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm a Pokemon fan, and I do collect some of the pops, but like I just never was like, oh, the diamond ones, but now it's like, now I wish I did have them. It's just like such a interesting line that has skyrocketed for them.
Yeah.
I have a question though. What is there a line you wish of, whether it's a movie, a television show, that they did make pops for?
Yeah. So I've got two that I'll say. We did a whole episode on this, but these two were not included, so I get to do it here. Spaceballs, which they'll never make one. Because apparently I read somewhere that when Lucas gave Mel Brooks the right to do Spaceballs, he specifically said no merchandise, which is where the joke in the movie comes from. There's all this merchandise, right? That's where the joke comes from. Because, and again, I could be wrong on that. So somebody watching this or listening to this, be like,
you're probably definitely right about
that. That's what I recall reading. And so a Spaceballs line, I would love to see that. And then the other one I'll say is I'm a huge Dave Matthews Band fan. I've seen 41 shows live. And so, for those who don't know, the set list changes every show, which is why there's 41 shows worthy of going. It's not the same show every single city. So, I've been to 41 shows, and I would love to see, now that they've done the Pearl Jam multi-pack, and the BTS has got one 7-pack, I would love to see a Dave Matthews Band 6 or 7-pack, depending on what era they choose. Or I'd like to see a Dave Matthews Pop individual, like they did with the Police. Right, they had the Sting Pop and then the other guys. So I'd love to see a Dave Matthews Pop individual, because that one I do believe would sell retail as a Dave Matthews one. But a Carter Beauford or a Rashawn Ross Pop, nobody knows who those guys are unless you're a true Dave Matthews Band fan, and so those aren't going to move off the shelf at Target. Okay, so my way around that is you do a Dave Matthews Band or a Dave Matthews Pop separate for everybody, mass retail, whatever, and then you do the other guys individual also. But you do them as part of the warehouse, which is the Dave Matthews Band fan club. You make them a 5,000 or 10,000 piece, something limited. The fan club members will snatch those up like hotcakes, and now you've got them on. Now you've got them out there. You're not doing any disrespect to anybody other than Dave, but you've got them out there. But they're not. You're not expecting a Tim Reynolds or a Stefan Lassard Pop to sit in the Target shelves for 5 years. So you kind of. Again, I don't know how fiscally responsible that is for Funko, but that's what I would like to see. Is I'd love to see a Dave Matthews Band Funko.
That is a great one. I mean, Dave Matthews, right? Like that would totally sell. I mean, he is
even just
following.
his own himself definitely would. But what's your thoughts on multi-packs in general though? Because I know you brought that up. Like it would be like, do you like the fact of having 4 or 5 different? Obviously, you love the band like that, but usually no.
Yeah. No, I I don't want to say hate's a strong word, but I don't like the multi-packs. A 2-pack or a 3-pack is fine depending on what it is, right? Obviously a movie moment or something is really cool. Those can be cool things. But as far as making BTS, that 7-pop wide Walmart exclusive, the Pearl Jam thing, which, I like Pearl Jam enough. I'm a child of the 90s, but I wouldn't want that thing taking up a whole shelf back here. And then if you're a stickler for pop protectors and things like that, how do you manage all that? It's just it's too messy. So as a general rule, I will say no, I don't care for the multi-packs, but there are a handful that I'd be like, oh, that's pretty neat.
I agree. I usually don't go from.
It's funny, I'm a huge Bruce Springsteen fan. It would be sweet if they made an E Street Band, but that would be huge. It's what are you gonna do? And I feel like it's the same with the Dave Matthews. Right. Make a Bruce Springsteen one. Are people gonna care about the entire band? His huge fan base will, but I do wish
that's just it. They've got to figure out a way to kind of be like, okay, we want to do this because the front man, for example, will be huge, right? So a Bruce Springsteen Pop, I'm not necessarily a Bruce Springsteen fan, but I would absolutely buy that, right? Mm-hmm. If they had a Mick Jagger Pop, I was lucky enough to see the Rolling Stones because Dave Matthews Band was opening for them, so I flew down to Texas to see it because I wanted to check that off the list.
It's pretty awesome.
Because I knew Dave would guest on a song and all that, and he did, by the way. So, I would totally buy a Mick Jagger or Keith Richards Pop, but I wouldn't necessarily buy the rest of the band necessarily, right? So if you're putting that into a pack and then selling it through their fan club or something, that's how you kind of work around all that. And the last thing I'll say about Dave is Dave actually lives in Seattle, so it's a perfect Emerald City Comic Con exclusive. If you give him a different guitar or something lazy that Funko would do. Right, we're gonna give him an electric guitar. That's the exclusive for this. It's perfect because he lives there, so he actually could represent Seattle in that way. So, again, there's all kinds of possibilities that either they'll eventually get to, or they'll completely ignore. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah. What if they make it into one of those new albums, those new pop albums? Would that excite you as a big Dave Matthews fan, or that's just
Unfortunately,
too much?
Miguel. Unfortunately, I would. Unfortunately, I would. I'd have to buy it. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I'd have to buy that if they came out with it. And the only one I'm thinking of with them on the cover is Everyday. So if they did an Everyday album, even though that's probably my least favorite Dave Matthews Band album, just out of principle, I'd probably have to buy it. So
Yeah. Well, I
You
think
feel
actually with this new way, they don't even do the new one. It's just the album and then just the members. So the album
yeah,
art
no, I
doesn't
know.
have to necessarily have them on it.
And
So it
maybe
could
that's
be
the
any
way to get
album.
around it. You know, maybe
Yeah.
maybe that's kind of their way to say, well, if there's nobody like the Linkin Park one, not a Linkin Park fan. That album is pop album is
That,
sick.
yeah,
because
the pop that they
looks
use is
great.
crazy.
Yeah, so maybe that's kind of Funko's way of saying, okay, well, if there's nothing on the cover that we really want to do, maybe we could kind of, we'll make it a big
extra.
long thing, and we'll put all the band.
This
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I wonder though, like maybe Dave doesn't even want his likeness to sound like a collectible, because I think of that sometimes. Like there's so many musicians that should have pops and they just don't. And I'm assuming that's why.
I agree. That's because I think that's actually one of the things that thanks for bringing that up, Charlie. Is that's one of the things that people forget. I think when they go, "Oh, why isn't this made?" Well, maybe because they don't want to be. You know, I would absolutely die for a Chuck Berry pop with his leg out, like with a guitar. I mean, that would be awesome. But maybe his estate is like, no, and so it's a two-way street. We hear it all the time in sports, right? Well, why don't they just trade that guy? Well, maybe because he has zero trade value or nobody needs him, So there's like it's a two-way street. It's not just the one team being like, oh, we gotta get rid of this guy. So for this particular case, like I'm sure there's a lot of pops that they'd love to make, but they either don't have the licensing for, or they couldn't get. Eminem, I think, is a great example, right? Didn't they have to make a B Rabbit pop to kind of get around?
Yeah, it's 8 Mile. Right? It's not even Eminem specifically.
Right. But I'll be lying if I said he's not on my hip hop shelf. It's an Eminem pop to me. So
I mean, that's to me too. He's one of my favorites, so I was like, it's him, so I have to get it, even though it doesn't say Eminem. But it's just crazy. It's funny that you said that because about the estate and everything. Because look what happened with Michael Jackson. They made his pops, and then with all these issues that they had with his estate and people they had to pull them off of the Funko app, so you can't even find them through Funko's official like you just buy them off of people. So it's like crazy that could still happen even after the fact. So it makes sense that stuff won't even get made.
Well, I know too, like Joaquin Phoenix, I know we've talked about it before, and Tom Cruise, they will not allow Funkos of them. They actually had made a Tom Cruise one for The Mummy, and when he caught wind of it, he made that get pulled. So I don't know if anyone actually has one in the wild, actually ever got to own one.
But I did not know that.
Yeah, and because I really wanted that then, but yeah, he will not allow it.
You guys, that crushes me for the new Mission Impossible movies. I'm a gigantic Mission Impossible
fan.
Me
too.
Like, all right, in a year or two, they're going to have these Mission Impossible pops. Think of how sick that movie moment would be.
I agree. That
first movie.
That's what I want.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I love Mission Impossible.
He has so many movies that iconic characters that they could use. Top Gun. Like there's just so many.
Yeah.
That would
Days
be
of Thunder. They can put him in a car.
Everything. He won't allow it. And like, there's not a Joaquin Phoenix Joker pop. Like, come on.
That was one I always wanted to see, and it makes sense that because of him himself. And it's weird because it just makes you think like they're gonna make money off of it, especially get royalties and stuff off of that. There has to be. So it just kind of makes you think like, are they just stuck up like that? Like they just.
I have picked up pops to get signed at cons that I would never normally buy. Okay. I've got a Jerry Lawler pop. I was a wrestling fan back in the late 80s, maybe early 90s, and then I just didn't care anymore. And I still don't care. But I got a Jerry Lawler pop specifically because he was going to be here about 20 miles away in Franklin for a con. It was like $25 to get his autograph. And I was like, done. And it had just come out, like finally hit stores like a week before. And so I bought 2 of them, and I took them down there, and I got them autographed. I never would have bought that pop otherwise. So my point is that you're exactly right. Like, people, maybe not Tom Cruise, he's not really hurting for money, but there are people though that could benefit long after their success is over, just based on the fact that they have a Funko Pop, because people would buy it in order to meet them, or whatever the case is. Now mail-ins, thanks to the pandemic, is a big deal. You can mail in stuff. Like I'm really, I have like one day to figure it out, but the new Ahsoka Tano, Rosario Dawson's doing a mail-in signing. and I would
Oh,
love to
that's
get
awesome.
my Amazon exclusive.
That would be awesome.
Sorry, right? I'm never gonna meet her, so this is my only way, right? So I would love to do that.
Hmm.
So
Nice, yeah. So before we let you go, though, I want to make sure we brought up what you mentioned earlier about the bobbleheads. So I know you wanted to get
Yeah.
into something
yes.
specific to that.
So let me ask you. Let me ask both of you then. So, do either of you have the zombie Silver Surfer pop?
I do not.
Yes,
Do
I
you
do.
have it in box, McGill?
It's in box, yeah. I haven't taken it out ever.
Okay. Can you reach it?
I can grab it. Yeah, I guess I'm looking at it
Okay.
from here. I just got to get up.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna vamp for you. Okay, while you're doing that. All right.
Okay,
So
yeah.
here's the deal. So I was in Poppin' Off Toys here in Nashville, and a guy came in and was asking Wes, the owner. He said, "Hey, do you know that all Marvel Pops are bobbleheads?" And in my head, I'm totally judging this guy, which I shouldn't do. But I'm totally judging. I'm like, "Yeah, of course, idiot. We know all Marvel Pops are bobbleheads." You know, I don't know what. So it's having a rough day or whatever. So so I was like, "Yeah, we know." So he goes on to say that Marvel the Zombie Silver Surfer Pop doesn't say bobblehead on the box,
Wow.
It doesn't, because it doesn't bobble.
but it's a Marvel
That's
Have
Pop.
Have you seen this,
interesting.
Charlie?
No. I no,
His head isn't even connected. I don't know if you can tell, but
And it doesn't say, it says collectible. It doesn't say
so at the
bobblehead on it.
bottom it says vinyl
oh,
collectible. I didn't actually. Do they all say uh
They
bobblehead on
do.
the Marvel
They all
Pops? I
say,
didn't
yep,
even realize
they
that.
all
they
do.
do.
Oh yeah,
And
they
that's
say
the
like
only one that
vinyl
doesn't.
bobblehead.
So
Or
the
they say
lesson here
bobblehead
is, first of
figure.
all, don't judge a guy that comes into a comic store and starts mouthing off because you might be wrong. That's the well, lesson number one, like I was. Number two is all the Marvel Pops are bobbleheads except that one, and I don't know why that is. And I
Do
was
you think because
curious
his
if you
head
knew.
is not connected? I wonder if that's why. As weird as that sounds. There's no
I
like
mean, it's
art.
definitely
Is Mar
that's why it's not bobble. But why did they do it that way?
What I'm wondering is if Marvel Zombies, and I don't know this because I'm not a comic book guy. Okay, so maybe I'm way wrong, but is Marvel Zombies a unique and original idea by Funko? And if so, maybe that specific pop is the loophole. Like there's other ones, there's like 20 of them. There's like a ridiculous amount
Well,
of
it's
these.
funny. The line definitely, I mean, there have been like comic book runs with Marvel
With
characters as zombies, but like
yeah,
this line I felt was uh yes, an original line
Right.
for just like when
Like
they
the idea,
venomize
right?
like every character in the Marvel
Yes.
universe, like that's not a thing.
so
Right.
maybe because he doesn't actually exist in a comic as a zombie, and they were able to kind of get away with it because like obviously like Captain America, like there's a zombie version of him in a comic book like that
Yes.
Yep.
exists. So maybe for this one there isn't. There has to be and it's weird that it's the only one. I mean,
It is
obviously
the only
based on
one.
how they make where his head's not connected. I feel like I didn't even look at that. That's so crazy.
So
That's a
Oh,
great fact,
learn
Jeremy.
something every
Yeah.
day.
I got to bring
It
some
is
value to the show.
interesting.
So, this is how I
No,
do it.
it's super interesting. I mean, I know we went in depth about like what we thought was the reasoning behind it, and like Hasbro having to do with stuff, and like because bobbleheads are not also like because we also found out on sodas that they all say collectible. They don't say
Right.
Figure.
what is the word figure on it, which is basically like action figure, which was almost like Marvel can't say because actually these say vinyl collectible. They don't say figure on it.
It's funny.
And
I bet you though, it's because its head's not connected. They made that design, and it's not then like how all action figures have like all the articulation points.
so,
It's like it doesn't matter. I don't know. It's
so
just it's super weird.
vinyl collectible, and then a regular pop still says vinyl figure. So that Marvel figure word thing definitely is something.
But let me tell you though, Charlie, you're right. You're probably right on that. But that takes an awful lot of R&D on Funko's behalf, like to know that that was a possibility, or to think, okay, we're going to change this box because of this. They would have had to have gone and checked all kinds of legal boxes to
You're
make sure
right.
that it was fine, and that is a tremendous amount of effort to produce that pop right there.
I
Because
mean,
it's
I
different.
totally
It's
agree
the
with
only
you.
one.
This pop should be worth more than it is because of all this.
There's, I bet you that's not a, I mean, a lot of people probably don't know. I feel like I need to get that now. I didn't really
I
like
actually have almost all the Marvel zombies. I actually almost have all of them, even some of the con ones, because it was kind of a mixture of horror and Marvel to me. So being that I had all the other horror pops anyways, I gravitated towards them, whether they were real comic characters or not. So for the most part, I'm looking at, I have pretty much almost all
It's
of them.
just so funny because I collect almost all Marvel lines, but I didn't get that one because I was just like, this is made up. It's not like
Yeah,
it has no, but
That's right.
So I didn't want it.
that's
It's
funny.
just so
With
funny.
Venomized, I did that. I got a couple that were cool.
I didn't get
and then
those either.
There was
That's
too
just
They're
like
cool.
they're super cool, but that is a cash cow, like we were talking about before.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I need to be more selective, and yeah, I just can't get them.
Yeah, they know what they're doing with Marvel specifically, but yeah, man. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Oh,
Jeremy,
thank you
it
for
was
having me.
it was it was fun. We talked about having guests, and we're basically going to try to do this like once a month, get someone on here. And right away, I thought of Jeremy because obviously I just knew he'd be great. I have a good relationship with him, and I told Charlie I was like, he'd be perfect for this. I mean, he's got a great voice for radio anyway, so I knew he would be good on the mic. But yeah, I love your channel. So before we do go, I just want to make sure that you kind of just plug yourself, because I want to make sure that even though you hit 1,000 subscribers and you're bigger than me, I still want to make you even bigger. No, I was kidding. But for sure, you deserve it because you are amazing. But yeah, let me know. Let everybody who is listening or if you're watching, where they can find you, whether it's your personal information that you want to give out, whatever, or your channel and stuff like that. So
You can follow us at New and Old Funko Pop Unboxings. It is a tremendously long title, and we apologize for that. But when we're brainstorming, trying to think of title names, for obvious reasons, the easy stuff was taken, right, because they've been around a long time and all. But I was like, I see all these other channels do like mystery minis and all the. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to do Funko Pops, and so I needed a name that would reinforce that brand. That we're not going to unbox toys. We're not going to unbox designer toys like Chomps or or whatever. We're not going to unbox Mystery Men. We're going to unbox Pops. Now there have been like 3 examples of not doing that. We did a Pokemon box break one time because my son got a Japanese Pokemon box for Christmas this last year, and we ended up pulling a Charizard, which was pretty sick.
that's awesome.
But so we did that. We kind of okay, we'll do something new. That's kind of cool. And then we did we found these Ghostbusters, for Ghostbusters Afterlife. We found these little they're little mini marshmallow toys in the Target toy aisle. And I bought 4. There's only 6 figures in them, and I just different ones. They're mystery. You don't know what you are. And I bought 4 of those at Target. And that video will drop the day that Afterlife drops,
Nice.
in a week and a half or so. And so we did that, but that's basically it. Like all the other one of our 160 videos that we've posted so far are all Funko Pops and Funko Pop related. Specifically, because I don't want our viewers to be guessing, because I know when I would watch these older shit, I'm going to use Pop Couple, who I adore, but Pop Couple they do mystery minis or designer toys, whatever. And I'd see that notification pop up, and I'd go there immediately to give them a watch. And 5 seconds in, I'd be like, "Oh, I don't care about this," and then I'd click off. That's nothing against them. I mean, collect what you want. But I was watching it for the content. I was watching it for Funko Pops. I wanted to see what they pull. I wanted to see all that stuff, and I just decided that we wanted to have a long title because of that.
Which fits you guys, though. Obviously, the new and the
Thank
old.
you.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
so
awesome.
it's super creative.
Thank
Father,
you very
son.
much.
Cool. So and what about like on Instagram? Because I know on Instagram it's not as long, right? The title.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I forget about that because it can't be that long. So it's New and Old Unboxings on Instagram, and then you can follow us on Whatnot at New and Old Unbox, a singular unbox. And marketing guy, that's very frustrating to have different handles, but unfortunately, with the big long name, you kind of have to abbreviate and pick your battles. So that's what we're doing. So
Nice. Cool, man. So I appreciate it. And you, like you said, you drop videos Tuesdays and Fridays, correct? And then you do soda videos, but separately, and you do those on Saturdays.
yeah, 2 soda Saturdays every Saturday, and that we've been pretty consistent with that. And then Tuesday and Friday, we try to hit every morning Tuesday and Friday mornings as well. And then our first live, of course, is tonight, Monday, which we're very excited about. But we'll see how that goes. Again, it could be a complete disaster. Which will be good TV. So come hang out with us.
It's great that it's live. Anything goes.
Anything's gonna go for sure.
We'll definitely make sure to check it out, though. I'm excited for that. Charlie, you got anything else for?
No, just thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it. You're the perfect first guest, and everyone, please, make sure you go subscribe to his channel, follow him on Instagram. It's just a great channel that you guys really need to be looking at.
Thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate it.
Awesome, guys. So thank you guys so much for checking out Collector Chatter. Again, this is episode 9, and we had our guest Jeremy from New and Old Unboxing. So make sure that you do check him out, and make sure you are subscribed to all of our stuff. Thank you guys for the support, and until next time, take it easy, guys.
Bye.